Hey Prof. In this video, I want to reflect on my experience working on partnerships for BambooBond. This was one area where I was quite actively involved, especially in outreach and early stage discussions with different organizations. I think one of the first things we did was actually sit down and map out potential partners across different categories like community partners, funding organizations, research institutions, and even corporate or product based collaborations. And from that, Shannon and I built a list of 50 plus organizations and started cold emailing them. This included organizations like UN development agencies, environmental foundations, and even impact funds, each with very different expectations and goals. And honestly, that process itself was quite a learning experience. Because initially I approached it more like, what can they give us? But over time, I realized that every email had to be tailored. Like, for example, when reaching out to organizations like UN Women, we framed our work in terms of empowering women artisans, whereas for organizations like UNDP, we focused more on sustainability and poverty reductions. So it became less about sending messages and more about aligning narratives. Another key partnership I worked on was with Ubon Rajasthani University, and here the collaboration was quite concrete. Students would help facilitate workshops, assist with translation between Thai and English, and support the actual operations of the Bamboo Learning Center. And that made me realize that partnerships aren't always high level, sometimes they're very operational and directly tied to execution. We also explored partnerships with technical institutions like the Bamboo Institute at Rangsit University, and those conversations were more about knowledge exchange, like bamboo treatment methods, architecture, and even co developing workshop curriculum or scaling the Bamboo Learning Center model. So, across these different partnerships, I think what I learned is that each one requires a very different approach. Some are about funding, some are about knowledge, some are about people on the ground, and you can't approach all of them the same way. I also learned a lot about communication because cold emailing taught me how to be concise and intentional, like how to introduce Bamboo in a way that is clear, relevant, and aligned to the person reading it, and also how to deal with silence or rejection, which happens quite often. But I think my biggest takeaway from this whole experience was understanding that partnerships are not about asking, they're about alignment. It's about finding that overlap where both sides benefit and are genuinely interested in working together. And that requires listening, adapting, and sometimes even reshaping how you present your own work. And overall, this made me realize that building something like Bamboo is not just about what we do internally. A lot of the impact actually comes from the people and organizations we are able to bring into the ecosystem.